Welcome back to the tutorial for the Champion Tree Project. This is our final video that's going to show you how to tally up your score and determine how many points your tree got. So to do that, what we're going to do is take a look at our data sheet where we've recorded some measurements. I know that in this tutorial I was measuring a Scots pine with completely different numbers, but these are the numbers that you'll see on the data sheet that we've provided to you. So the first number that we're interested in is the circumference, and with all of these measurements, it's really important to remember what units we're using. So in this case, we're looking at the circumference in inches, and in this example, we have a circumference of 150 inches. The next measurement that we took was height in feet, and in this example, we had a tree height of 75 feet. The last measurement that we took is the quarter average crown spread, and to do that, we used our long and cross crown spreads. And our quarter average crown spread in this example was 50 feet. And so to determine our total points for the tree, all we do is add those values together. So 150 plus 75 plus 50 is 275 points. And so this tree got a final value of 275 points. And it's really important to remember when you're measuring trees that trees grow to different sizes depending on their species, and that champions are measured for each species. So something like an oak, it'd be very common to see an oak that had a score in the hundreds, possibly even high hundreds if it was a really big specimen. Something like a dogwood or a redbud might have a much lower score, but could still be a champion for that species. It'd be really uncommon to see something like a redbud with a score in the multiple hundreds. I don't even know if that's possible. But the species like oaks and maples that we think of as being big trees, it's very common. So as you're out there measuring, don't always try to measure the biggest tree that you see. Try to measure the biggest tree of a given species, because that's more likely to be a champion. It's also really important when you're considering which trees to go out and measure to consider those three measurements. So you might find a tree that's got a really big trunk, but if it's growing in a forest, it likely has a pretty narrow canopy because it's competing with other trees. So you want to find a tree that has not only a big trunk, also has a wide canopy spread, and is also very tall. But again, that's all relative depending on species. So get out there, measure a couple different trees, see what you come up with, and then don't forget to upload your results to the New Canaan Champion Tree Project website. We've got a Google form where you input all of the data that you collected on this data sheet, and once you hit submit, you'll be able to see results in real time. So you can see if your tree was a contender on the Champion Tree list, you can see if it's the leader, you can see which ones are biggest so far, you can see how many trees folks who are participating have measured, and you'll also be able to see some cool metrics like how much carbon has been stored by all of the trees that have been measured so far. So get out there, enjoy, feel free to reach out with any questions, and thank you for participating in our program.